You're watching Hellbent Holler live, part of the Hellbent Media Network. Grab a drink, settle in, and get ready for the show.
That was a good one. All right. Can you hear us? Let us know that you can see us, you can hear us, and we're all good. And we will get started with the show. Let us know in the chat, and then we'll get a cranking, kids. There we go. Look at that. That's our names. Let's take a look here. Hear and see. Thank you, Catherine Gay. You are quick on the draw. Everybody else, good. Awesome. Excellent. All right. Welcome to Hellbent Holler Live. This is our weekly show we do on Mondays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. This is just the announcement for everybody who's new. I know we've got a lot of new people that started following the channel this week, and we'll get into the Small Town Monsters documentary that probably brought you here. So we'll get into talking about that. But I just wanted to welcome everybody to Hellbent Holler Live. Normally, we are known for doing field investigations. That's mostly what we do. We basically own the night when it comes to cryptid field investigations. That's what we're known for. That's what we do. But every Monday, we like to come into the studio and have a one-on-one kind of chat with all of our viewers and our friends and kind of do a Q&A, open forum, open conversation with everybody. And we discuss everything high strangeness. We go from everything from weird alien stories to Dogman. We discuss theories. We get into some quantum mechanics from time to time. Mm-hmm. We have a really cool audience, and everybody really, a lot of people always tell us we have the best chat out of all of these shows that do this kind of stuff. We just have such a diverse and skilled set of people that watch our show, and also the most mentally ill.
Yes, very much so.
So
Yes.
we will go from there. We want to welcome you guys. It's been a whirlwind couple of weeks here.
It's been a while since we've been in the studio.
Yeah, last week we
Yeah.
did a live from the Grove. So we were not in the studio at all last week. So we missed our Monday in the studio, which is fine. We had to reset up everything because we use a lot of our field investigation equipment for the live show here.
Mhm.
Like the camera that we use is actually the camera that we use to film when we go out. So we have to kind of set it all up and repurpose everything. So it's nice to be back in the studio.
Yeah.
And not in the woods getting chased and hollered at by
Exactly.
weird stuff. So, all right. All right. Let's see what we got here. I'm looking at the chat.
A couple
here.
quick things. Pork Chop Express need to have a holler con one day, so we can. We were actually just talking about that
We
earlier.
literally talked about that
Yeah.
last night. Holler Con was the title that came up, but also Hellbent Hootenanny.
Hellbent Hootenanny, I think, is probably the front.
That's the
runner,
one I
so.
was. That's the one I was voting for. Is the Hellbent Hootenanny. So we have discussed that. That has crossed our little minds a couple of times at this point. So, all right. Let's see if my mouse doesn't work now.
We've been having computer problems like all evening long trying to get set up here.
Yeah.
Um,
But
That comes in waves with us, though. Everything will run like a well-oiled machine for like weeks and months, and then all of a sudden, weird stuff starts happening, and then it just compounds.
it's a complete
I'm
breakdown.
literally running on a laptop, a tablet, and my cell phone right now, just because
One of them is going down.
all of them are having problems right now. So I'm going, all right, I'll at least hopefully have one of them up and running. So
Yeah. That's just the way the
all
cookie
right, so
crumbles.
cool stuff this week. Everybody knows the Alex Petikoff video dropped.
Yep. So that dropped yesterday. I thought it was going to drop at 7 p.m. That's what my YouTube app said.
Lady Wolf messaged us going, you guys are totally missing this premiere. And we were just like,
Yeah.
what the hell?
So I thought it was going to happen at 7 p.m. because that's what my YouTube app said. So that's what I had said in the community post when I was telling you guys about it. 2 p.m. apparently. So we came in late to our own ball there.
That's the story of our lives. So
But we were there. We were at the in the chat watching that, and I was very pleasantly surprised with how it was. I was impressed with the way that he crafted this story, that the way that Alex has improved by leaps and bounds on editing and storycraft and everything. It was very well done. I was very, very happy with it. I came across like I knew I was talking about for once in my life.
you looked good. You did good. You sounded good. You managed to. You really tied a lot of stuff together. You did a great job with the history of the LBL. We obviously saw this on the back end. You know, we saw it being made, and we were there for a lot of the filming of it. We weren't there for all of it, but the way that it was crafted and started off with the history, and then slowly built, and then Jesse's phone's going off here. Very unprofessional, though. Okay, you did great on the documentary. Very unprofessional on the live stream, though. Very unprofessional. So the way that it built from the history of it, then up through the weirder stuff, and then the crescendo was Martin Groves' story.
Yeah.
And it's funny because they asked all of us individually, me, Jesse, and Elijah Henderson, who's also in it, what do you think is the most pivotal or the most important, account or event that's happened in the LBL? And of course, all three of us independently went, well, Martin Groves, and then it launches right into.
And we were independent of each other. We were not around when we were.
That's what I'm saying. All three of us
filming,
independently came up and said that. So, and then it launched into Martin Groves retelling his. And it's weird because we always go, we don't want to call it an encounter. Because it was an attack, basically.
Attack.
But
Experience.
They called
attack.
it the incident.
The incident.
The incident. So I think that has enough gravitas to it.
So Flat Squatch was asking a link to the video. Michael was actually asking this too. I'm going to put that in the chat right now.
Yeah.
After the show, go take and watch this. It's on the Small Town Monsters YouTube channel. It's their latest release on there, but go give it a watch. It's really, really good.
It's really good.
The way that Martin tells his story is insanely powerful in this. So and now it is a departure from what Alex Petikoff generally does. The title of this series that he's doing is called Strange Places, and he goes to strange and weird locations and explores the weird history behind it all, and is kind of branching out into other areas. And I think he came up with this idea after he met with us in the LBL. We did the Vampire Hotel, and he checked out Hotel California and just found all these places. He's like, oh my God, there's weird places everywhere I go. This could be its own series. He's really known for doing straight up Bigfoot type stuff. And I think in the act of doing this, he's upset a few of the straight up Bigfoot people because he has chosen to branch out and make a departure away from what he's commonly been doing, what he's been doing over and over and over again for years, which is important to do. But I think it's absolutely fantastic that he's branching out into other things.
A couple quick things. Thank you for that, Chris Jackson, for Bucky's Jerky.
Yes.
Actually, it's going to be repurposed we got to rebuild the long duration audio recorder. No Bucky's Jerky for you right now.
Me. No.
And we'll get into all that later. But yeah, we've got to retool the long duration audio recorder. But a couple quick things on that, though, too. Or Not to Run said, I was a little sad when he said he didn't believe in the LBL massacre at the end. What you have to understand about Alex Petikoff is that he is obviously open enough to a lot of this stuff, to look into it. But he's the sort of person who's just not going to believe anything blindly, and that's all there is to it. However, he went into this, and I don't mean to speak for him, but my impression is that he went into this just thinking there's absolutely no way, there's no chance in hell that this Dogman stuff has any merit to it, and it's all just fabrications and misidentifications and everything like that. But after hearing Martin Groves' story yet again and being on the ground in the LBL, he's walked away going, I still don't know what I believe about the Dogman thing, but I believe Martin Groves. So I think he's at the point right now where he's trying to reconcile all
this. Moving the needle, even if you move the needle just a little bit with somebody who is so thorough and so skeptical about the existence of these things, I think that's a big win.
Well, I mean, that's how we were. We were not open to the idea of Dogman. We did this on a lark when we first went to the LBL. Mm-hmm. We've talked about that many times. And then we walked away going, holy crap, something's there. But we didn't know what. And even then we were going, all right, did somebody hoax us? We ruled that out. Is this an escaped natural animal in the LBL that we caught on thermal? Nope, not the case. So then you have that, and then you compound that with very credible witness encounters, because there's other people out there. Martin's the most public-facing and the most credible. And that's the thing about it. And that's what's cool, is that Dogman's like the kind of the one who's not the family member who's not welcome to the family reunion. Do you know what I'm saying? They're the kind of black sheep of the cryptid and paranormal world. However, Martin Groves is probably the most credible witness out there right now for any sort of high strangeness whatsoever. And he experienced Dogman and Sasquatch and some other stuff, but Dogman mostly. So so as we experience that, our minds changed. And you're looking at Alex right now, and listen, Alex Petikoff's the sort of guy that unless you got one on a slab, he's not going to go, they definitively exist. I will say 100% they exist, unless he's got one that he can prod with a stick and all that. But he went into it just like everybody else has, going, no way in hell, to going, something's there. And I think that's what we're all agreed on at this point. Something's there. Something's going on.
You can't quite nail down what's happening. A lot of people propose a lot of theories, and a lot of people have theories that they're so wedded to that they make them pronouncements. But the reality of the situation is, for people like Joe and myself, Barton Nunley, Martin Groves, Dewey Edwards, we are all people who have been in the LBL countless times at this point. We're very familiar with it. And I don't think out of any of us, we can honestly say what is going on with any kind of phenomenon out there. I think that everybody kind of has some theories. I mean, I have theories. Everybody's got theories, but nobody can really nail down exactly what is happening.
Because part of it is it's human nature to want to put things in boxes. You want things to be in tidy little boxes with tidy little labels. And I was having a semi-discussion with somebody, and they were just going, well, dogmen don't do that. And I'm going, tell me what dogmen do and what they don't do. Because you can see patterns with a lot of this, but then guess what? Then you can find cases that are the complete polar opposite.
There's always going to be outliers.
There's always outliers, and you can't throw those out.
You can't throw anything definitive out.
So like it's sometimes a very contradictory phenomenon to look into. And I think that's what we're all at right now, is that we're all just going, all right, there's something there, but it's weirder than what we originally thought it was.
Yeah.
So a couple quick things here real quick. Cryptic Castleberry had said, think about Martin's incident almost every day. A lot of people are like that. A lot of people. Yeah. And if you haven't seen this documentary yet, we both got choked up watching it.
So we got an advanced screener of it a couple days before it came out. So we both watched it before it aired on YouTube. And I called Joe just like almost in tears because I'd gotten to that point, and I was like, because I know Martin personally. The first time I heard his story in person was at the Dogman conference in Paris, Tennessee. And I didn't really know him to the degree that I know him now, but now that's like a family member of mine recounting something insanely traumatic. And so I called Joe, and I was just like, I have to stop watching this for a little bit. I was so upset.
She called me and she was just like, Martin got me. And I'm like, Martin got you. And she's like, Martin's story got me. Because I hadn't seen that part yet. And then I watched it and I went, oh, it got me too. And and I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen this. If not, there's going to probably be a little spoilers and stuff like that tonight. But it's the same thing like when you watch Barton Nunley retell his story. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you watch Barton Nunley retell his story of what happened to him as a child and the creature that his family had to deal with, the most cynical person in the world sits there and goes, something happened here. Okay. Something happened here. I mean, it's extremely, I had to start something real quick. It's extremely traumatic to this day for people that have experienced stuff like that. And that's the one thing that I think's really struck Alex Petikoff. And he even mentions it towards the end. I just go, listen, man, the guy's not lying. The guy's not lying. And Alexander Petikoff's like, no, he's not lying. I thought the idea of Dogman was ridiculous. Something happened here.
Yeah. Something
happened here. We just don't know what. And I'm going, join the club. You know what I'm saying? I mean, join the club. And that always goes back to what I say the majority of this phenomenon is like. A lot of it's very fleeting, just quick glimpses at it. It's very, very quick. It's just somebody saw something that's not supposed to exist and it happened so quickly. And that's 99.99% of the time what happens. And then that real small fraction of 1%, it's stuff like what happened to Martin Groves. Okay, it happens. It's just not a daily occurrence. And when it does happen, a lot of times there's nobody left around to tell the tale afterwards. So
yeah, how many of these encounters ended with somebody not coming back?
Yeah, exactly.
To tell their story. I'm kind of going through the chat right now. I've started some stuff on there.
Hey, Chris, thank you again for that $20, by the way.
Yes,
we do
sir,
appreciate it. We're in the midst of doing, let's go ahead and, how did those devices do last week in those trees? Did you catch anything incredible? Are they still out there? No, we got them.
So yeah, we did a member stream where we went and retrieved the long duration recorder.
And we opened it and it was working. And I was like, it's still working. We're good to go.
I found my gloves.
We've tested that out for 4 weeks at a stretch, a couple times, and it's worked. When we first tried to set it, I tested it at home. I tested it in the vehicle. When I got to the spot to set it, it wasn't working. It looked like we'd blown a fuse. So I had to come back home next day, rebuild it out of spare parts that we had, and then we put it out. And then when we got there, I'm going, man, I'm going to roll up and this thing's not going to be working. And I rolled up. It's working fine.
Yeah.
Saved the file, test the file, audio's there, unplug everything, hook everything up, bundle everything back together in its waterproof container.
Mhm.
We hike out of the woods and I get home and all of the freaking files are corrupted. I had Jesse grab her phone real quick and I was like, film this. All of the files, a week's worth of audio files, all corrupted. None of them will play. I've been messing with it and pulling my freaking hair out nonstop. So it's
This has been such a saga with this. And what sucks is that Grove area is, we've gotten so many weird audio.
It started off normal-ish. It started off like we're in a Bigfoot area. This is it. Because what we started off looking for.
This is it. Finally.
This is it. Just a normal Bigfoot area.
We're going to get some Bigfoot
prints.
Stuff.
We're getting wood knocks. We're catching prints. And I'm going, we don't have any real weird lights out here. And then later on in that live stream, people are going, did you see the lights over Jesse's head a couple times?
No, I don't want to.
Then these small prints that we found, the big canine prints. We found another print that looks weird that we don't know if it's a large canine double step or what it is, but it's weird. And now equipment issues like left and right. And this is, so anyway, I've retested the audio recorder. It works perfectly, works absolutely perfectly. There's something about that trip in and out of the Grove that wreaks havoc on the freaking equipment. So I'm rebuilding it right now. I had an audio recorder show up today and I looked right at it and I just went, this ain't gonna work. I need something that does not have enough room for failure like this one does. I need to just simplify it. So we're back to the drawing board where the concept works and it works well everywhere else. It doesn't work well in the Grove.
Yeah.
So I got to figure out something else for it.
We're talking about maybe taking a break from the Grove.
Yeah. It's to the point where it's getting frustrated and
we're getting frustrated.
Yeah.
You're saying it's getting frustrated?
It's frustrating me.
I was about to say, is it permeated your brain at this point?
It pretty much has.
Are you one and the same?
It's just, it's frustrated me to this point. And I had that thought that night because I was going, oh, we're safe here. It's having too much fun messing with us.
Yeah.
I'd say messing, but I am very frustrated with that area and the equipment stuff and all of that. I'm ready to step away for a minute and then come back to it at that point. So
but if we do come off of that for a little bit, we'll go back eventually just because we've gotten some insane evidence out there. But I think it helps to kind of step away from an area and maybe return to an area that we've not been into for a while. Yeah. I'm thinking about going back to North Georgia. We've not been back to North Georgia in a very long time. So I think that could be something interesting to catch up on. Yeah. Because we've not made our presence known in North Georgia in a very long time.
We'll go somewhere, but I need to step back. I need to get some distance between me and the Grove right now because I'm getting too frustrated. I'm getting too personally affected. And quite honestly, I know I'm personalizing something, but that's what it wants. It wants a certain level of frustration is how I feel. And when we got back home, I sat there and I felt very defeated and I just went, it beat me and it's not going to beat me. We're going to go back, but I need to cut out any chance of failure with this recording system. Yeah. And I need to simplify it and strip it down. And I need to take some of the bells and whistles off of it. And we're going to get it. It's just that I need to be clear-headed doing it because otherwise we're never gonna get ahead of it out there.
Okay, you guys are talking about April has a question here. I'm not gonna give you a great answer here. I know you really want me to answer this question, but I can't give you a great answer here. Can someone answer my question? Are hellhounds and Dogman the same? I don't know. We don't have enough information about what Dogman is, what the Dogman phenomenon is, what it's rooted in. We have a lot of theories. Sometimes the way in which the phenomenon behaves, it lends it to being a physical creature that's here all the time. Sometimes it lends it to it being something that could possibly be interdimensional. We don't know. A lot of people, when there's any kind of paranormal activities or any kind of high strangeness that goes on, they automatically attribute it to demonic activity. So I can understand how Dogman could be labeled as such, but I don't see personally a lot of correlation between the Dogman phenomenon and the biblical hellhound. Well, what do you think?
As far as like hellhounds from like Western European folklore, and Dogman. I know I just kind of just went Dogman.
Dogman.
Dogman. There are a lot of
There's a lot of
similarities
parallels.
and there's a lot of parallels between the black dog phenomenon
Mm-hmm.
and the modern day Dogman phenomenon. As far as like hellhounds, I'd say in some cases, as far as like the greater black dog phenomenon, yes. And that's actually something we're looking into extremely closely right now. We're doing a lot of research on that for a project we've got coming up. So I don't know. I'm at the point right now where, as I've looked into more of these historic cases, mostly from Western Europe, I see a lot of parallels.
Yeah.
I see a lot of similarities. It's just some of them happen to stand on their hind legs over in modern day North America at this point. So anyway.
I'm just going through the chat right now.
Paramedic asked if copper wrap would protect the recorder. I don't know. I've got a couple other things that I'm looking at doing. I've got some
Faraday
stuff. I've got some other stuff that I'm looking at, but I'm just telling you right now, man, I was ecstatic. For those of you that saw the members live, I went, it's working still. It's still recording, saved the file, did a quick test, got the audio, and then everything's great. And then we hike out and then I get home and I plug it up and I'm going, we got nothing. They're all corrupted. And then I stayed up the rest of the night just doing recorder tests, trying to see if I could replicate those files being corrupted, and it works like a freaking top right now. It just runs perfectly.
Yeah,
it
as a
just runs
follow-up to
absolutely
that,
perfectly.
Stephen Bolton was asking, could moisture cause some of the equipment failures? My father lives next to a lake. Everything decays, fails 10 times faster there. I know I'm always helping fix it all.
No,
LOL.
moisture had no effect on it. We left it for we had 3 days of rain that time that we just left it right out.
Yeah.
And
In the rain.
And
Like
we had to protect the microphone, put it under something. And now keep in mind, when it's raining like that and you've got something shielding the microphone, all you're going to get is like raindrops pattering on the shelter. But it works. And there was not a lick of moisture inside of that thing when I opened it. I was ecstatic. I was ecstatic. I have foam built around it to protect the battery, the power source.
Mm-hmm.
That was dry. That was like, and I was just going, I can't believe this just works so well. I was half expecting it not to be there when we showed up.
Yeah, actually,
And,
when we came up that hill and we were busting through the brush to get to the location of where we left the long duration recorder,
Mhm.
I was about 50% sure it was going to be completely gone. That it was just not going to be there at all, even though it was in a very difficult place to access.
Yeah.
If there were any other people down in the area,
Mhm.
they would have no clue
Alex
that
just
anything was back
just
there.
popped on.
Hello, Petakov.
What's up, stranger? So,
but yeah, I have expected it to just not be there.
So,
or be.
So we're not giving up on it.
Damaged.
We're not giving up on it. The idea, the whole design of it is good. It's sound. It's just that the place we're putting it at is not good or sound. And we're not defeated. I just need to step away for a minute and come up with a friggin' no plan of attack for it. So.
Kim Drescher says that I think the Grove is sucking you in and taking your mojo.
It is sucking us in and taking our mojo. Definitely sucking us in and taking our mojo.
I'm honestly ready to let it rest for a little bit. We've been hitting the Grove pretty hard over the past few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're going to take a break. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean we're done with it forever, because we did get some crazy evidence out there. We got some crazy stuff out there. We've had some crazy experiences out there, and we've just kind of scratched the surface on the area itself. There's a lot of land we've not covered yet. We've been kind of exploring around every time we go out there, and we've been going out there constantly. But there's still a lot of stuff we haven't checked out yet. But I think in our best interest, for our sanity, our safety, I think it's probably best that we
get some
distance between us.
Distance between those. So
I was really stoked about that thermal that I got there, that thermal hit I got there.
Hey, Indy Southpaw, thank you. Well, damn, thank you for that.
Thank you, Indy Southpaw.
Show just started. The show could suck. You want your money back in 20 minutes. Joe talked to Brian Black Mass Paranormal. He was talking about a company Faraday. They have special bags. That's what I've got. I've got static resistant bags that are done with the Faraday. The only thing is you can't use them for the majority of our stuff. Like the cameras, you can't have the cameras covered, The recorders, you can like cover them, but there's still going to be an entrance coming in with like the cables and all that. But I've got probably 20 of those bags in various types right now, and that's what I'm experimenting with now. But I don't know. I'm hoping. Thank you for that, by the way. And then Surviving the Strange. Welcome to the channel, members. We
What's up,
appreciate
my
it.
man?
We appreciate it.
I keep getting we keep looking up stuff about this. I keep getting ads for that EMF blocking clothing.
The hex gear?
No,
what is it?
It's like day-to-day clothing, because there's like a whole segment of
To
people,
keep them from getting you? To keep them from like beaming stuff into your heads and all that?
It's fashionable EMF blocking clothing.
So, you gotta look good when you're being gang stalked, man. So that's actually the tagline for the company. Look good while being gang stalked.
It's an extraterrestrial.
So, but Filthy Casual, I think Dogmen have more in common with werewolves, don't they? As far as like transforming, I have no earthly idea. As far as you get into certain areas when people are they're having experiences with these things and they don't have a internet cryptid background and they don't know the term Dogmen, they call them werewolves. That's why we called our LBL series the werewolf experiment.
Yeah.
Because everybody we were talking to was going, you're going to think I'm crazy.
Well, colloquial, that's what you're going to say. That's the term that people can access quickly.
Yes.
The Dogman term is relatively new right now, and it's only gathering steam over the internet right now. So you have people that have lived in these areas for a long, long time that aren't involved whatsoever in the internet cryptid, YouTube cryptid world, where, if you watch a lot of these shows a lot, you listen to these podcasts, you're very familiar with that terminology. You're very familiar with people's stories and experiences. These people are not familiar with any of this at all. So the closest thing that they've got, the closest approximation they've got is werewolf. Yeah. So that doesn't necessarily mean that these things change under a full moon from the form of a man to the form of a upright canid. It just means that that's the closest approximation for what they physically saw or experienced.
Yeah. L.W. Marshall had mentioned, what about the Black Shuck of England? Exactly. The Black Shuck. There's Black Grims. There's all these different like black dog, and you even get that in the United States with like some of the warg legends and everything like that occur not too far from us. But if you look at a lot of the stuff and you just go, well, it's canines, and they exist around graveyards, liminal places, cemeteries, old burial mounds. A lot of times they seem to chase and terrorize as opposed to harm. But when they do harm, there's usually no survivors.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff on that, and we're deep into that stuff right now. All right, what do we got here?
I've got some stuff starred too. If you want to look, I'm trying to go through this chat. It's blazing.
Chat's blazing.
There's smoke coming out of the chat right now.
Tracy Crane, thank you for that.
Presented
with no comment. Thank you, Tracy. We greatly appreciate that. So, and then that was followed up by Ray. Thank you, Ray. My schedule's back to normal now. I'm catching up. Enjoyed y'all on Little Town Monsters. You did an awesome job. Thank you. We had a ball.
That's the wish.com version.
We don't really do. We had a blast doing that. We had a blast from like start to finish on that, and it was cool getting into the woods with Alex. I'm glad he even put out a little thing about us nerding out over each other's gear. You know what I'm saying? What are you guys carrying? I don't know. What are you carrying?
I think that upsets some people because they're like, oh, you're out in the woods of the LBL at night and here you are smiling and laughing. What is wrong with you?
Because if you're going to do this stuff, at the end of the day, you have to enjoy it a little bit. Okay. And again, I don't mean to speak for Martin Groves, because Martin Groves, what he dealt with was extremely traumatic.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say, and if you were in any doubt before the video that Alex put out, he suffers from some PTSD from it, okay? It was a very traumatic experience. Even Martin finds some, I wouldn't say pleasure in the aftermath, but I think that some of the stuff that it's led him to, some of the people that he's met and some of the people that he's been able to help since then and all that.
Yeah.
I think if maybe not enjoyment, maybe satisfaction from it. But yeah, and people were going, wasn't it dangerous? And I'm going, yeah, it's dangerous. But at the same token, it's still an enjoyable thing to do. And it's all, that's all there is to it. We enjoy doing this. We enjoy going out, even when it's scary, we enjoy doing it. So if we didn't, we would never go back after it was scary. We would just go, all right, well, that's done. That's terrifying. Safety third. You know what I'm saying? That's our
Safety
motto. Bristol's talking about the Laughing Beast area. Yeah, the cicadas have got us a little worried this year because
I think it was Dewey that sent us the article.
Dewey, the Dooster sent us the article going, beware.
The Dooster is on top of any sort of bug news that we may need.
Yes.
And he sends it directly to us.
Any sort of bug news.
Yeah, I'm concerned about that because that's the thing there too. Is like the Laughing Beast area is all seems like it's all audio phenomenon. Like from what I don't know. The lady that described what happened, she said it came up and slapped the side of the truck. Whatever.
Did we ever talk about the story? I guess she doesn't mind. I mean, she told us we could talk about it.
Yeah.
We ever talk about the story about her husband running into the little girl out there?
I don't think we did.
Most of what happened in the Laughing Beast area, we call it the Laughing Beast area for new people, that we had somebody contact us from this region talking about how we needed to go to an area. Her husband was a former moonshiner, not
law-abiding man now,
who's part
statute of limitations,
part Native American, and he had an area where he used to basically make shine at, and he'd had several weird experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he wanted her to take him back down in there later on in life, and she took him there, and they set up, and they were hearing basically weird howls in the woods, calls, screams, and he's on edge a little bit, but then they heard something start laughing in the woods, busting through the brush, going to them, and he just panicked, and they jumped in the car and left out. So we were fascinated with this Laughing Beast. We went down there. We caught some weird calls. We've never heard anything laughing before. We've not experienced that ourselves.
That scares me more than something like out there growling or howling, moaning. The laughter is because that seems so maniacal, and it seems evil in a way, maniacal. Exactly.
So we called it the Laughing Beast area. Well, then they shared an experience with us because they were going, well, you need to be very careful out there. People have gone missing in that area. We're not sure if it's anything mysterious or it's just bad actors, like bad people in the area, whatnot. It's a very remote area.
And there's some pretty sketchy, to get there, we have to go through some really sketchy areas. Sketchy. And we actually, to go where we parked and then hiked in to go do our first, we did Laughing Beast, twice? Yeah. We have 2 videos out. We had to go through some barricades. We had to drag some barricades out of
nothing
the road.
That says no trespassing, because we don't trespass, and we don't trespass, but we
law-abiding citizens.
We're law-abiding citizens.
So we had to drag some barricades out of the road and then travel really, really far back into this forest. And there was some sketchy stuff out there.
But so that area is very remote, very sketchy. And I said, well, has he ever ran into anybody out there before? And she goes, well, he ran into a little girl. And I'm like, a little girl? And she's like, yeah, he one night came up to his truck and there was a little girl at his truck. And she was very insistent that he give her a ride. And she wouldn't answer any of his questions about what she was doing there, how she got there, who she was with, anything. She was just very insistent that he let her in the car and take her with him.
This automatically go on.
Yeah, and I start going, she had black eyes.
I was going to say, this was like black-eyed kids
children phenomenon. Yeah. And she's like, no, she was just a little blonde girl, and she even asked, she's like, do you have black eyes? She had black eyes. And he's like, no, I'm just a normal looking kid. Acted very mature for her age and was very insistent that I get her in the car and take her somewhere.
See them eyes. See them eyes.
So I'm like, well, what did he do? And she goes, well, what he did is he went, I'm not letting you in the car with me. I'm sorry. Yeah. I will, you stay right here. I'm going to go down the road till I have some signal, and I'm going to call the police to come deal with you. And let out. But she was just like, he was just going, there's just something. She would not answer anything else about where she was coming from. I'm lost, nothing like that. You just need to let me in the car. And she acted very mature for her age. So we got that to look forward to down in that area. And what's crazy
as long as we don't show up with Mike's Hard Lemonade, I think we'll be okay.
Exactly. So we got
did I just throw you for a loop?
You threw me for a loop. So anyway, but they and what's crazy is that out of that area, that's the area that we've experienced the least amount ourselves personally, but we're still super on edge when we go down in there.
I think we keep avoiding going down there.
I think we kind of, we probably come up with
What
ideas
sucks
not to
is
go
we
down there.
really need to go down there before those cicadas kick off, because we've got
Yeah.
to get that audio. We got to get some good, clean audio of
Yeah.
what these people are experiencing down there. But I think it honestly scares me.
Yeah, it's a scary area.
Because
so.
we go into remote areas all the time.
This is like remote.
This is really remote.
It's as remote as you can get this side of the country, you know.
It's us going to North Georgia. That's a long haul up into the mountains and deep into the mountains in North Georgia, and I don't think that scares me. Even though we know there's a cult operating up there.
Yeah,
exactly. Is this weird for me to say?
No,
but
I mean,
we know in North Georgia there's a cult operating up there. They're into weird, nefarious stuff. We've seen what is basically.
I don't even say supposed cult up there. There's cult activity.
There's a freaking cult.
Everything those two people told us, I think, is
yeah.
true, so.
And then we've seen so much crazy stuff up there and experienced so many crazy things up there. But at the same time, all we've experienced at Laughing Beast so far has been those crazy howls
in the distance,
screams in the distance. And I'm more freaked out to go there than North Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Somebody had asked about Monster Fest. I don't think we're going.
That is like a 10.5-hour drive.
Yeah, I just to attend, we probably will not go.
Yeah.
And we're not of the stature to be there for anything else. So we're a couple of weird YouTubers. But
it's that's a 10.5-hour drive.
I don't think we're gonna go as attendees as much as I'd like to, you know what I'm saying? Because it was great last year.
But if you're in that area, definitely go. It's
a
lot of fun.
It's phenomenal. I mean, literally, it's one of the coolest things we've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
It's just we don't really do a lot of conferences as attendees anymore, and we don't really get invited to speak to a lot of them because we're so damn weird. But we there will probably be a ton of people there. As far as the rest of the people, I don't know if Martin's going. I don't know if
I haven't heard from anybody else about it. Sugi. Suji.
Suji.
She's gonna get me. Suji, not Sugi. Suji. I wish we could go to the Gatlinburg conference. All work and no play. We're thinking about going to the Gatlinburg conference.
We're thinking about going to the Gatlinburg conferences for one reason. So
to support our boy Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron Dees is going to be doing a presentation on Dogman at the.
I think Heather's doing it too, but they're from Small Town Monsters. Aaron has his second Dogman book coming out, and it's centered around the Land Between the Lakes. He has that releasing along with the Small Town Monsters feature about the Land Between the Lakes and the Beast of LBL. I think we're going to be included in that as well. But he's releasing a book about it that's a companion with that. So he is actually going to be at the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Conference along with Heather Mosier. And I think that they're going to encounter a little bit of hostile Bigfootery.
Some of the Bigfoot people were a little upset that the Dogman people were invading their conference.
How dare you?
And we were reading some of the comments online. And I was almost going, man, we don't really have a lot of time for a lot of these, and we don't really do a lot of these. But I'm going, we might need to trek north a little bit.
We might be going to the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Conference.
Show our boy a little bit of support there. Thank you for that Pork Chop Express. I believe that sometimes
we're just going to show up in Dogman t-shirts.
We need to show up like
Dogman crew.
We need to show up like incognito, like with the Groucho Marx glasses on, with the mustache.
I thought you were going to say as a Dogman.
So, Pork Chop, I believe that sometimes a higher power may want you to have a very personal experience. Just because others don't get to have the same experience doesn't make it not true. It means we're all unique. I have always said that I think that that's part of the reason why there's so much animosity within all of these different communities, is because I have a Bigfoot experience, and it's basically like a flesh and blood creature in the woods. I walk up on it, it's eating, it seems startled by me, it runs off, there's a pile of scat, a bunch of prints. Jesse has one, and it's much more, I don't know, spiritual, weirder. We both experienced something that looks similar, but then when we tell each other our encounters, I go, you're lying because that's not what happened to me. And she's like, well, you're lying because that's not what happened to me.
It's that Spider-Man meme.
Pointing at each other. So, but
yeah, but it's all, I mean, everything is so subjective when it comes to this.
Well, and
you're the, you know, what did John Keel say? That you are the co-author of your own experience.
Yeah. You
that
play into it a bit.
You play into it a bit. It seems like the phenomenon, it tailors the experience to you in some weird way.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these experiences.
Thank you for that Pork Chop. So
I ought to wear my Dogman mask that Dead
Dark Star
Yard
has
Hunt sent
something
me.
here real quick. Been seeing a lot of AI Bigfoot photos making rounds lately. Oh yeah, you have. We might be reaching a point where we have to go back to developing film and photos the old way in order to avoid scrutiny. Now that they're doing AI videos as well, and that's going to just get better and better and better. It's going to eventually come down to you're not going to be able to trust a 15-second clip on TikTok at all. You're just not. You're going to need context. You're going to need what happened before, what happened after. You're going to need to see it and as it relates to a larger piece of work, a larger video or whatever. Which means that if something happens and somebody just grabs their phone real quick and films it, it's probably it might be real, but you're not going to be able to trust it. You're only going to be able to trust longer form things that have context to them. So that means that when you're scrolling through TikTok or Instagram or anything like that, any short form videos that you see, most of them are fake right now anyway. They are, but soon it's going to be next level, man. It's going to be next level. So,
oh, Alex said that Gallenberg is going to be awesome. That SEM will be showing a film at the Smoky Mountain Conference.
Cool. So
that'd be cool. Yeah, I think we're going to end up because we can do that in a weekend. It's the thing about going up to Ohio is, like I said, it's like a 10.5-hour drive. That's a long trek for us.
Thank you for that, Hawk. There are some very weird peeps in this field, and y'all are nowhere near that weirdness. We're just weird because we don't fit like in a real like tidy box. I mean, we do Bigfoot stuff, but we also are open to like a lot of other weirder stuff, but we don't have answers for any of that weirder stuff.
Yeah.
So we don't build narratives. I can't tell you that there are government dogman breeding programs and then tell you all of this stuff very definitively with no evidence to back that up. I can't tell you that there are Sasquatch clans living in these woods and that, I mean, that might happen. That might not happen. It hasn't happened to us. Yeah. I mean, so we're just cross spectrum weirdness people who don't really get involved in narratives, who just go, this happened to us. This is what it could mean. But I don't know. And then if somebody else comes up and tells me a crazy story, I don't instantly just go, you're full of crap. I go, that's possible, So.
Oh, Alex. Stop.
I'm trying to hide that. What do you got?
For the record, I recommended Hellbent Holler as well for the Smoky Mountain Con Dogman.
I don't know if we're ready for those pitchforks and torches that are going to come
I also
out,
sent them an email, so we see that both of those fell on deaf ears.
We actually got reached out a couple, one big and one medium sized, but regional conference, like reached out and wanted to talk to us, like wanted to have us like appear. And then they just like went real quiet. We didn't push it because we were already on the fence about doing it, but I was just going, they watched some of our videos.
Yeah.
They were just going.
They watched our videos.
We thought these were Bigfoot people and they're like looking for like weirdness.
No.
So.
Oh no.
39. Sean Man has a thing with the upcoming eclipse. Do you think there'll be an uptick in paranormal activity? In certain areas, there might be. We were talking about that just last week because we were out there in the full moon. In certain areas, there does seem to be something to the old adage that full moon increases activity. In other areas, the full moon's like dead and it's the new moon. It's when it's really dark out.
Yeah.
And you have to be out there multiple times to kind of get that pattern down. So when is the eclipse? I don't even know when the eclipse is.
April. And it passes almost above the LBL. So the total
April 8th.
Yeah. Total, I think it's gonna be above the LBL, but not like perfectly. But it passes over it. So I'm sure I don't even want to be anywhere near the LBL during that because that everybody and their mother is going to be out
in the
there.
LBL. It's good.
It's every research team within the area is going to be in the LBL trying to do something during that.
And the problem is that when you go with that, then all of a sudden the level of hoaxing gets up, or the level of just
bumping it's
bumping into each other.
People and when we go out there, we try to go at off weird times. That way we are less likely to run into other people out there because we don't really want other people showing up in an area that we're investigating. We don't want to bump into other people. We don't want other people contaminating our possible evidence. So
Paul wants to know if you ever got clear or good footage of the Dogman, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, alien, or UFO. Would you really post it on YouTube? Yeah. We may not like the aftermath of that. I've always said that I would much rather have gotten an interesting thermal image that I thought might be a Sasquatch as opposed to something that I go, looks kind of like a Dogman, looks an awful lot like a Dogman. because that opened up a whole kettle of fish for us that, hasn't always been pleasant, I think I would say.
Yeah.
And I constantly go, man, our lives would be a lot easier if this had been like a Bigfoot thermal. So yeah, if we got something like that, we'd release it. We would release it as best we could. And again, we would try to provide context before and after to try to cut down on people saying it's AI. But what you're getting to is, again, we're getting into that. We're not getting there. We're there. We're there right now. That pretty much anybody is going to be able to dismiss almost anything you bring out and just go, that's AI. Right now you can kind of, if you watch it long enough, kind of see where it falls apart. What do you got? What are you laughing?
Everybody's talking about the waxing gibbous moon, and I've lost it. Where did it go? Oh, Pork Chop Express goes, waxing gibbons sounds dangerous.
Boy, we said that. We just dropped like 15 viewers, man. Way to go. Anyway, boy, Henry, Jesse and Joe, have you considered electric bikes to get you further down these roads?
No.
And here's why, because A, they cost a bunch and we don't have the money for them. Right now they're
like $2,500.
We're going through equipment refit right now because a lot of the equipment we've been using hard for years.
I'd rather buy a new thermal.
One of our 3 thermals is down and it ain't working, and it's going to cost as much to have FLIR look at it. Never buy a FLIR. FLIR's a crap company. Never buy a FLIR. Go with like one of the other manufacturers like AGM.
AGM is what I usually use.
Pulsar.
If you guys watched that video that I put out a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I got that footage on an AGM, and I've been putting at the bottom what thermal I'm using. Joe usually uses the Pulsar, the Axion Pulsar, the Pulsar Axion, and that's what he got that original Dogman image with in the LBL. But I use
it looks like a Dogman in the LBL. I always preface that.
Okay.
But a lot of our equipment that we've been using for years is starting to hit that shelf life.
Yeah, our FLIR crapped out on us. But
FLIR crapped out on us. Some of our GoPros are going. I got to retool this long duration audio recorder. So electric bike, you know what? Even if we could swing it in the budget right now, our thing is that we use those roads to get to sketchy areas off the old service roads. We use them, but then we get off and go. So we would have to like chain our expensive $5,000 worth of electric bike up to a side of a tree. And
we hiked up
knowing our luck, that would be the one night and the one place in the forest that some meth billy with like a pair of bolt cutters just happens to stumble across them.
Yeah.
And then they're gone. So,
how much copper wire is in this
electric bike? So
y'all don't forget, we in the Southern Appalachians. Copper wire's at a premium. Yeah, it just doesn't fit what we do. We hike into places sometimes we'll hike into places that are very difficult to access. Otherwise, like unless you're just on foot, you can't take a bike in there. And we don't want to leave these expensive bikes just by the road somewhere while we hike into an area. It just doesn't fit what we do at all.
I mean, because generally that's the same reason why people go, oh, you need rear facing cameras on the back of your backpack. And I'm going, we've tried that. And then I have like 24 hours of unusable footage because it's branches going across them. We're not on level hiking paths. We watched something the other day where people were on these like very level hiking paths that were gravel. And I was just going, God, that's like a dream come true. That's amazing. My back wouldn't hurt at the end of that from hunching over with this giant backpack on. But anyway.
Suji says that there's going to be like tens of thousands of people in Erie for the eclipse.
Well, when we're out in South Carolina, when the eclipse was here a few years ago, people came from all over the freaking world for it. So if it's near the LBL, the LBL is just going to be swamped. So
that's a no.
And I always go, the more people, the less weird activity. Again, John Keel, he always said odd off hours, out of the way places with few people. It wants a few people there for an audience, but it doesn't want a lot of people. So
it doesn't want a stadium.
Just wants a couple people. JD Smooth wants to know, are you guys going to bring some t-shirts and hats?
So we've been talking about this. We've got something coming up. I have Jonathan Dodd doing a design for me right now. Something different. Yeah, something different. It's kind of just for all these people in the chat who've been with us would know what the heck I'm talking about. We have an inside joke on the channel about Cocaine Dogman.
It's when Cocaine Bear, the movie, came out.
Yeah.
And it morphed into Cocaine Dogman on the channel.
So everybody talks about Cocaine Dogman. So I have Jonathan making me a graphic for a Cocaine Dogman t-shirt that's pretty awesome.
Yes.
So I'm gonna.
That's not gonna be for everybody. We're well aware of that.
We're well aware of that. But what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna do a pre-order. So I'll do a pre-order on those on the website, but I'll also put up a pre-order for our regular t-shirts that we actually had a bunch of and we gave them all away.
Yeah.
Well, we give them away most of the time, but we'll do a pre-order on those Hellbent Holler logo. It'll have this logo here that Jonathan Dodd also did, but it'll have that logo on a super high quality black t-shirt in blaze orange. I'll do a pre-order on that when I do the Cocaine Dogman. And pre-order just means you put your order in for it, and then when I close the pre-orders, I'll make the big order and then ship them out from there.
So we're thinking about doing that.
So yeah, but because we haven't really focused on merch, and we don't like the websites like Redbubble. What was the one we used that was?
We used Teespring, and people were like, just because people wanted stuff with Hellbent Holler logos.
Yeah,
on it,
and so I put up a bunch of stuff,
and it was so crappy.
The quality was not there.
I had people calling me up, like not calling me up, messaging me, going, "This coffee mug sucks," and I'd be like, "Nothing I can do, man. I mean, I did.
Yeah, the print on demand stuff. It's convenient, but the quality just isn't there, and I don't want a bunch of my logos, and I don't want to be associated with stuff that's fallen apart. So we're not going to do that. So we'll do high quality t-shirts that are hand screen printed by a guy that has a family in Louisiana, and that's just where it's at. So that's what we're going to do. It's going to be, we're going small with a small business, supporting a small business.
And the hats, we have the Stitch Witch D, Deuster's wife, makes our hats for us.
Yeah.
We don't buy like just hats that are like really cheaply made overseas and then shipped in. I mean, and that means we won't do as many. We don't really make any money off it anyway when you factor in shipping and all the other stuff. But we'll do them. But like I said, they'll be really good quality, but they won't be really cheaply like mass produced type stuff.
Yep. So all of our stuff is done by small businesses of people that we know, and we like to support people that we know and their families. So we may have something coming soon. That's that tirade.
We don't really, and it's weird because people will be like, "You guys need to do merchandise," and I'm like, "Yeah, the income to help the investigations would be great. The time commitment is rough on it." And even then, you get to the point where, remember, we tried to sell hats, and we had a few hats to sell, and everybody was like, "I want a hat," and then it'd be like this amount of money, and they'd be like, "Oh, that's too expensive."
Yeah,
$9 is what I was thinking, and I'm going, we're not putting Hellbent Holler stuff out that's that cheap. Thank you for that, Tatsumaka Truth. Thoughts on the Jersey Devil? Not really. We haven't really.
I've always wanted to go to the Pine Barrens.
She's obsessed with the Pine Barrens, and that's total. Otherwise we're like Southern Appalachians all the way. But she's got to think about the Pine Barrens. We'll probably end up going into the Pine Barrens. I don't think we can carry firearms up there.
So we carry the gabagool.
What's the gabagool? Carry the gabagool.
The gabagool. What's wrong with you?
We might end up doing that one day down the road.
Well, we're talking about going up to visit our boy.
Anyway, go ahead.
Talking about visiting our boy Kyle and doing Bridgewater Triangle.
Yeah, Kyle from Encrypted Connections. We want to get up and.
I'd love to do the Bridgewater Triangle. We've not really been up in that area ever. Yeah. So we don't leave the South very often.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff here to do it, and the other thing too is that we're always trying to pack so much into as short a time as possible.
Yeah.
And
we both have jobs.
And we both have to work to do this too. That's the thing. So, but that goes into with our boy Kentucky Boy 22 looking for potential new areas to investigate. It's weird. You have to strike such a balance. You don't want to get spread too thin, but you don't want to be here's what we're always worried about. We're always worried about people know where we're going to be at and going, "Hey, I'm going to go hoax those Bigfoot weirdos off of YouTube. I'm going to go hoax them.
Or I'm going to go just
chop them up.
Which we've had that threat before.
Chop her up and put me in a trunk and take me away.
Wait,
take me away.
You get the kidnapping?
I'm getting the kidnapping. So anyway, fellow like me bring prime dollar on the freaking, on the market, but
you couldn't even commit to that.
So we have to mix it up by just necessity sometimes, unfortunately. Because here's what sucks. Like, say we're out in an area and we're getting lots of crazy activity, and then we realize we're being hoaxed, and then we have to like come out and go, hey guys, by the way, all that crazy stuff we caught, somebody messing with us. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to be in that position to do that. I don't want to be in that position to have to stand here and tell you guys that stuff that we thought was real, and I don't want to waste my time, and I don't want the frustration level, and I don't want to have to bury somebody in a shallow grave in the backwoods for hoaxing us, you know? So
good point.
Good point.
Did you get Grace W's?
I did not. I was working towards that.
Grace W. Thank you for that, madam. Okay, no electric bikes, but please tell me the Hellbent Hollercopter is not off the table.
So.
It's not. It's not off the table. We'll commit to that Hellbent.
You guys will know we hit the lottery.
There will be signs.
Y'all tune in. Well, yeah, there will be signs. Y'all tune in one week and we're taking off a helicopter off a barge. And it's like all black and orange, like everything. You'll go.
I just got really excited.
That's where that Powerball money went to. Oh my Lord. That's who those, an unnamed couple in South Carolina just hit the Powerball. Yeah. And then all of a sudden we're doing that. You know that we're hitting it.
I just got super excited about that.
Yeah. One of those cool shots. I'm like leaning out the side of this helicopter like a scarf. Like cool ass, like World War II fighter pilot goggles.
Your scarf is getting caught in the blades.
Nope. I'm going to have a special scarf handmade. All right. What else we got here?
Michael Chun wants a Hellbent Holler stick-on tattoo. That's kind of on brand, I guess.
Welcome to the channel there, Havoc, my dimension. Welcome from Chapelou. I'm going to be pronouncing that right. Ontario, Canada. Wish you all could join us for a camping trip in our backyard. We would love to get up into that area too. As this kind of grows, you'll probably see us going out into other areas. It's just Southern Apple. We're both from the mountains through here. So a lot of it's just because that's what we're really into. Like I'll hear interesting stuff in other parts of the country, but then when I hear something here in like our backyard, I go, that matches up to some of the folklore that we've heard in this area, some of the witness accounts. And that's what really kind of just gets us jazzed up. And like Jesse says, it's closer to us. So the less time you spend traveling, the more time you can spend
actually going out and investigating
in the field. So
yeah, because we don't have a helicopter, so we won't be.
Man, a helicopter would be so awesome. I'm gonna take the chopper up for a little while.
Hawk says, I think y'all need to investigate Nessie. One of these days, I'll just go live and I'll just be right there and I'll be like,
shove a giant harpoon, so
you asked for it.
All right. So anyway, let's get back to, we're all over the damn place tonight, but we knew we would be. So
the chat's fire.
The chat's fire. Oh, well, here's the deal. We didn't expect the chat to be this lit. So the chat is kind of dragging it along. Moondog Davis. Somebody had mentioned earlier about the Brown Mountain lights. Lit. A friend of ours,
Stephen Dickard,
the
he's got a YouTube channel. He went out there.
Charlie Expeditions. I don't know if he's put it on the YouTube channel yet or not. But
so I was talking to him about it.
He's the guy we call Death Wish.
Yeah. He does caving because somebody was on here too. I think I started. They were asking us if it might have been Spooktator Bob. Actually, he was asking if we were interested in investigating caves in our region. That's a big no from me. That's a big no from Joe. We're not going in caves. We're not cave people. Never going inside of a cave. Not going to happen. If you know the story about the Nutty Putty Cave, that freaked me out so bad. I think Alexander Pedikov told me about that. I read the story and I couldn't sleep. Terrified me. Claustrophobia, fear, all of that. So we're not going to go explore any caves whatsoever. However, our friend Stephen Dickard has a channel where he goes and explores caves in the Southern Appalachian region. And he has experienced some weird paranormal stuff as well. Recently, he went up to the Brown Mountain Lights. He said he's been up there like 10 times at this point and has been unsuccessful. But he was trapped up there due to ice. It's at a high elevation, so the ice gets really bad up there. And he was like, well, screw it. I'm going to look out for the dang lights. And he finally got to see what we saw. He got to see the lights, like the orbs coming out of the mountain and floating around. But he saw exactly what we filmed, and he filmed a little bit of them too. I think he used a GoPro or a cell phone.
Yes, he was catching some of it, but I mean,
it's hard to catch it on cameras like that. But we had that full color night vision camera, that Psionics Aurora Sport. That's what we captured our Brown Mountain Lights footage on. That's why it's so great, is we had the right equipment to actually capture what we were seeing. So he actually captured some of that. He actually got to see it. But
Night Steve Causey. So
good night, Steve Causey. We're talking about, I'd love to go do the Brown Mountain Lights again.
yeah, we need to. We went up at the wrong time of the year, the time of the year that everybody told us not to go. We wouldn't experience anything, and we went up there
a year and 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
and then he saw them last week.
Yeah, so take that, Brown Mountain Lights experts. But we went up there, and it's weird how different light phenomena you can capture on different cameras. Like when we're in the woods, night vision cameras won't pick some stuff up. Full spectrum cameras will. Where were we at where the only thing that would pick the lights up was that real crappy knockoff cheap camcorder we had was the only thing that would pick it up. So
I was laughing about Sheila Ebeling going, the gabagool, oh my God, I screamed.
But
oh, what were you saying?
But so it just seems like different camera technology works best with different stuff. And obviously it's different light spectrums, different whatever, but it's just so weird how if it was natural phenomena that it would be
not varied based on what
so
camera.
Varied at that point.
Yeah.
But we would like to get back up to Brown Mountain. And what's weird is that our buddy Stephen Deckard, I've shared his link for his YouTube channel there. He said that he goes, I don't know if these are natural or what, he goes, but I didn't get like a bad feeling from them.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of the stuff in the Southern Appalachians is kind of dark. It's the Sasquatch encounters are usually more aggressive. It's got a darker, more violent tinge to the weirdness around here. And he's like, I just was filled with like joy. And I'm going, dude, did you watch our video? That's exactly how we were.
Oh,
we were having a ball with it. I mean, it was the coolest thing we've ever seen. And it was not scary at all. I think I made a joke at one point going, if some close encounter stuff breaks out, I don't even care at this point, you know. But it was wild. It was absolutely wild. So we want to get back up there. There's a new night vision thing that I'm looking at right now that I want to test out up there. But again, everything's got a list on the wish list at this point. So it's got a set for it. So
Chris says, Jesse, get to the holla chopper.
So did Josh pop in here? Did I see Josh? Josh Turner?
Yeah, right there.
Hey, Josh, we were actually watching a little bit of your show the other night.
He was asking what time we're ending the stream at 8:35.
Yeah, we'll probably go a little bit longer, but Deborah Stewart, thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that. You two are doing fantastic. For whatever you need, stay safe. God bless Martin Groves. I'm actually, Martin, if you're still on here, check your messages because I messaged him right after we talked. And I just went, we both got very emotional watching this. You know, I'm in it. You know, pretty much, I hate to say the star of the entire thing. And like you and Alex and Elijah are like real good, you know.
I think we're breaking up.
We're breaking up.
I'm not breaking up with you. I think
we might have just froze there for a second.
We're freezing.
But anyway, if you guys haven't watched that yet, check it out. It's really good.
I've got the link right here. I'm going to add it on.
And it really gives you a good overview of the LBL and lets you see Martin recap it. You really get to see Elijah Henderson talk about some good stuff. And you really get it's good. It's really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I was really impressed with it. I think Alexander has really done a great job.
Yeah, it was good, so.
And it was cool that finally there was a little focus on the history and what may have led to all of this weird stuff going on and what maybe leads to the LBL being the type of place that it is. What attracts this phenomenon, what maybe be the source of this phenomenon. And it like we've mentioned before, it's like this bitterness and this darkness and this human misery. It all seems like that kind of thing attracts paranormal activity or feeds into it. So in the upcoming Small Town Monsters documentary that they did, I think in our interview, we really go into that.
Yeah.
And they really focus on that. So we talk a lot about that and some kind of new theories that I've not really publicly posed yet. I talk about that in there if they keep it. So
Matt's Tube of You. Thank you for that, Matt. Do you feel light orbs, etc., more or less probable depending upon the rock, mineral, sediment, or lack thereof in some areas? We find areas with quartz to be very active.
But we've not experienced a ton of orbs or activity. Even like I've not really directly seen orbs or lights in the Grove, but that's one of the most quartz-rich places we've
But
ever
people
been
caught
in.
the lights over your head, but we didn't really
Yeah.
see those or investigate those. Those were just chance. So we can't, I don't know what those were, but we do find that, yeah, that mineral, and it's not like, we were talking about the Brown Mountain Lights. Somebody was like, well, what sort of seismic activity is going on there? And I went, they've already shown that there's not enough seismic activity in there for earthquake lights. And you know, there's all the different types of explanations for stuff like that, ball lightning,
Yeah.
everything like that. Ball lightning doesn't behave in an intelligent manner, and that's what the Brown Mountain Lights did. And they did them for Stephen Dickard too.
Yeah.
But the other lights, yeah, it's we find weirdness in areas with quartz, but Jesse's got you got a good point there. We haven't really had a lot of anomalous.
We've not
activity.
had a lot of light phenomenon out there, even though it is the one of the you know, the Uwari had a ton of quartz when we were out there.
Mhm.
And beautiful, huge, just quartz veins going straight through the Uwari. This place has the same amount, smaller pieces, but probably the same amount, tons of quartz. We've not experienced the level of light phenomenon that we've experienced in other areas.
No, so it's weird, but I mean, I definitely do think that we talk about the LBL, and one of Jesse's theories is that, you know, the iron ore industry was there. Iron is.
I was mentioning that earlier, but I didn't want to go into the thing because it's going to be in the upcoming documentary.
Yeah, we'll leave that. But yeah, I definitely think that the lack thereof will sometimes cause it as well.
Patty G was asking, STM said episode 1 on the beginning. Is there another episode? So this is a new series that Alexander Petikoff is doing called Strange Places. It's going to be just weird places all over the country with weird histories. We were just featured on the first episode because he was in the LBL. So we're not going to be featured on any more of those because he's going to be traveling around to other strange places.
We've got an area we're going to try to throw his way to see if he wants to do it.
Yeah, so, that will be a lot.
We might have another one. We got another one that we might try to entice him with.
We'll also be calling Sam Burton for that one.
So yeah,
but yeah, that would be a blast. We were talking about that earlier. We have another location we'd like to meet up with Alex at.
Hawk wants to know, has there anyone ever gone to the side where the lights are coming from? Yeah, people have tried that in the past, and there's no cell service through there, and the distances that are involved. We've been thinking about maybe trying to get with Stephen Dickard, as a matter of fact. Put him down there, and then you and I get on 2 different overlooks if we could get a good communication system.
Yeah.
And then you and I both look and kind of vector him in, because he's a wild man who has no boundaries and no concern for life and limb.
You got rid of that Suji?
Oh, I'm sorry. We're here.
You just don't care about anything, do you? Here,
Insolence.
I got it. Get away. Hit the like button or a dogman will poop in your shoe while you're sleeping.
All right.
Get a little comedy in here.
A little comedy.
We'll keep a little lightheartedness.
All right. So what else we got here? What else we got? Hold on a second. Chris Norton, about 6 years ago in North Carolina, where's Oak Island and Bridge at? Do you know?
I have no idea.
I saw something look like a Tasmanian tiger. Hard to tell. You know what that sounds like? Appalachian hyenas.
Yeah, it does. Actually.
If you want to reach out to us at roll the
beautiful bean footage.
Roll that beautiful email address. We're insanely behind on emails, guys. We're trying to get through them as best we can. Please don't stop sending them. Do not send us how to hunt or anything like that, like common YouTube channels, and just go, you guys will like this. I'm sure we would. We just don't have time to watch.
Yeah, we don't have time to watch
YouTube stuff videos like that. So, but we're extremely interested in what is referred to as the Appalachian hyenas. That's a pet thing of mine. So,
not a pet hyena though.
I would like a pet hyena to ride in my helicopter.
Karen Faust says, like Martin Groves, love Jesse's history of the LBL. It is similarly to Norris Lake, and I loved your live this weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Jerry,
I got one.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to say, Jerry Carter says, cool tattoos. Did Joe do anything expressive? He talks. Go on.
That's pretty much it. So, yeah.
Go on.
Have you ever come across any feral people or evidence of them during your investigations? We have come across smaller than average footprints in areas where you would not expect people to be walking around. And what left those prints or who left those prints, I got no clue. those prints that we just found on the lake shore seem weird. They're about the size of a 6 or a 7-year-old, but they're pretty deep in the sand, and they were accompanied by really big canine prints. What does that mean? I don't know. That's exactly what we just said it was. We didn't see where a boat had come up there, and we didn't see any footprints kind of coming from the water where they'd like waded to shore. It's a weird place to find footprints at. But here's the deal. We didn't see what made those prints, so we can't say what made them or what. It might have had a really weird.
It's all speculation.
It's all speculation. Might have had a really weird but mundane explanation for it. But it's weird. It's out of the ordinary. So we documented it and we went, something weird's going on here. We've found those in North Georgia. We found tiny footprints like that. And I'm always just like, if these are just kids running around out here, where's the adults at?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I mean, we've ran into some sketchy people in the backwoods before that maybe fit the definition of being feral, but probably not the feral people that you're kind of thinking of there, that we've not run across it. We've ran across some I hate to say, I'm not a stick structure person, but we ran across some like sticks.
Apparently
I guess we are now. That were woven together. That I just go, whatever did this isn't that big. Maybe there are people doing this out there. So
I have to just say, because we've not seen him in a while, not today, Saban. Y'all to take a look at the proximity y'all have to the intersection of ley lines in Georgia. First of all, not today, Saban, I would like to say congratulations on the retirement. And we look at ley lines. People talk to us about ley lines all the time. A lot of the areas we investigate are not in ley line areas. There might be some other anomaly there, but a lot of them are not ley line areas.
Mm-hmm.
The LBL is, right?
What's that?
A ley line area.
I think they're, but I mean, here's the deal. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's one of the things I don't really know a lot about. Ley lines.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm pretty conversant with a lot of folklore and like a lot of myth and a lot of like legend, but like ley lines, other than knowing about them and seeing maps, there could be a ley line running through this damn house right now and I would not know it. So dun, dun, dun. This would be interesting to say because Ristel, if you want information on North American hyenas, reach out to Justin of Cryptids of the Corn. He's done extensive research. Here's where I'm at with it. I've done extensive research. I've not done it. There's a few reports from out in Oklahoma, or probably more than a few. But the ones through the Southern Appalachians, it's very difficult to research them because you get lines on these encounters and they evaporate.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I ever saw anything about it was, like we've talked about in the past, we look on different types of internet forums. We don't go onto like Facebook Bigfoot groups. I mean, those are great, but we don't source leads from there. We go on to like geocaching, message boards or hunters, fishermen, hikers, and there were a couple of hunters talking about these things that they had seen that had tried to take deer kills from them that looked like hyenas. And these were just a couple of dudes chatting on the internet. And I remember I read that and it stuck with me, but I was looking for something else at the time, probably something Bigfoot related. And I could never find that again. I could never track down that thread, or maybe that thread got nuked or whatever. I don't know. But you catch these little stories of them. And we've heard one guy killed one and then he thought he was going to be in trouble for killing an exotic animal. And then we kind of got the feeling that he was poaching and that's why he tried to cover it all up. But they never go anywhere, but these stories keep popping up.
And then they disappear.
But there's never, when I say hard to research, other than catching like half-formed stories, there's really no way to research them. I mean, they've got the Shunkawarakan, which is out there, I think in Oklahoma. And if you're not familiar with that, look it up. But there's no real physical evidence in this part of the country, but the stories keep cropping up and they keep cropping up from non-cryptid interested people. So
Matt's Tube of You says, out of all of the places in the world that beg investigating, what would you both say is the top ones you would both love to check out? All the best.
I don't know. What do you think?
Pass. I'll get to it in a second.
That's where I'm at with it.
Pass.
Right,
we'll just keep
passing.
passing.
No. Well, I just
in the world.
I'd like to go into parts of Alaska. That'd be pretty neat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know you need some logistics behind that, and that's not something you just hop in the car and go do. Portlock, all of that. I know people have gone. Alex has gone through Portlock. I'd still like to go do a Portlock.
Oh,
thing.
I got one that I'm obsessed with. One
What's
I'm
that?
like bananas obsessed with, but I'll never get to go there.
What's that?
The Dyatlov Pass.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That'd be dope.
pretty
Yeah,
rad.
wouldn't it?
So
Yeah.
that'd be, I want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I would go to too.
Oh,
That'd be awesome. That'd be
gotcha.
awesome. Yeah, that'd be awesome. So, all right.
Dang.
Bang.
I said dang.
Oh, dang. So,
Yeah. How late do you want to go?
we're probably going to go for another 10 minutes and then wrap her on up.
That sounds great.
Guys, if you guys have anything else right now, we're going to go about 10 minutes here.
Yeah.
We appreciate everybody's support tonight.
Yeah,
It's well timed.
Well, it's been nice to actually be back in the studio
Yeah, it's been nice
and
to be
actually
back, so.
have because like when we do our lives in the field, I know you guys really enjoy those. I know you love them. I can't see the chat. I'm walking around with the phone streaming, but it's nice to be in here and actually having the conversation with you guys too.
So, and we appreciate all the support tonight, guys. It's weird because Jesse's the creative one out of us. I usually do like a lot of the tech, and what did Kim Drescher call me? The MacGyver of the cryptid world. I cobble together a lot of the weird equipment that we use.
I'm laughing at something somebody said in the chat.
But we appreciate the support. It's going to help us get through what are you looking at here?
I'm not going to put it up, but you have to see it and laugh.
Did you start?
No.
Where's it at?
Here, I'll start it and then go into your thing. Ooh, I'd investigate the pancake pantry in Gatlinburg. That sounds like a good flapjack. That sounds like a good flapjackery to investigate. I know that I killed Joe.
That got me. Oh, ouch. All right.
So I saw in the chat everybody was kind of talking about Gatlinburg in general, and a lot of people going. We will probably solidify our plans. Now that's in June.
Okay.
So we're going to solidify our plans. It sounds like we're probably going to go.
Yeah,
we're probably going to
50-50.
It's about 75-25. We're going to probably go. So if we go, let's organize a hellbent, hoedown, hootenanny, gather up. We'll do that. So I think it looks like we might be going to that. I think
Catherine K asked about your ear.
Oh, my ear's fine.
She's still got to go to the
totally here
to the doctor, but
yeah.
Yep. Oh, let's see here. I'm just going through to make sure we got anything else. Everybody's talking about how they love to hear me say "slow down," which is on the member stream. She got a Jessica.
Yeah, I did get a Jessica.
She got a Jessica.
I'm
you
glad
need to
I
slow
didn't
down.
Get the middle name in there.
Yeah, so I'm carrying a bunch of equipment.
Chris says you're doing a great job.
Thank you for that. So, all right, California Ryan, thank you.
Thank you, California.
We appreciate that, California Ryan. So
no longer homeless, Ryan.
No longer living it up in California now. So
he made it.
Hold on, John Kendall. My grandfather was one of the investigators of the Pass incident. What did he think happened? What was his? If you've got time to type it out in the chat, I'd like to hear it. So,
or if you want to send us an email to the beautiful bean footage down below.
Bart Dunley, hootenannies are fun. Boy, everybody loved when you called it the Dogman hootenanny.
I was hoping that Jody Cook was going to get into a boxing match with someone. I was going to make posters at that first Dogman conference.
The hootenanny, it was. We were ready for like fisticuffs to break out.
I was excited.
And they just the other party of that just didn't show up.
Yeah, surprise.
Punked by Jody Cook. Anyway,
congratulations,
Jody Cook. Anyway,
so winner by default, Jody. Winner
by default. We should have done a belt up.
We should have done a belt.
Oh, good Lord!
With like a dog man on it.
Yeah. So,
damn. John Kendall, our email is down below. It's hellbentholler@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
Please, we'd love to hear about that. I'm obsessed with the Dyatlov Pass. That was one of the first bizarre stories. I saw this thing on the History Channel about when I was a kid, and it scared me. Like I was shooketh. It like startled me as a kid. I could not stop thinking about it. I would lay in bed at night thinking about what happened, what could have happened, and what those people went through and what occurred to them. It just it's been an obsession I've had my whole life. So I'm anything Dyatlov Pass, I'm into it.
So everybody's talking about me saying slow down. A, I'm twice her size.
Good night, Lady Wolf.
Night, Lady Wolf. B, I'm like when y'all watch your editing is great. Jesse is able to take like a 1, 2, or 3 day long investigation and just kind of get it down to like an hour. And obviously she hits the high points, but she really conveys what we experienced and all of that. And it's exciting.
And I try to make it like you guys are with us.
And it's interesting to watch and everything like that. But while it's out there, it's just me. I'm doing everything. You know what I'm saying? I got a camera. Sometimes I got 2 cameras. Sometimes I've got a camera and like maybe like an EMF detector or something like that. It's very difficult.
I got to carry around this personality.
You got to carry all that personality around. But it's so a lot of times it's me going slow down because I've got like tripods sticking out of my backpack.
You were mad. You were big mad.
I was big mad. I was in pain. We've been going all damn day long.
On that stream. You were so mad on that stream. Good night, Martin. You were so mad.
Actually, I think we're going to wrap it up. Guys, if anybody's got anything else, you're going to have to hold it till next week.
Oh, yes.
You're going to have to hold it till next week.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Hell Bent Holler Live. We'll be here at 7:30 next Monday. I'm in the editing bay doing some stuff. What we got? What's up?
Yeah.
All the Jessicas,
but then Ray threw that at you and he goes, equipment or Buc-ee's? I'll let you get some Buc-ee's.
Well, you know what? If we go to the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot
There's
conference,
a Buc-ee's on the way. Let me guess.
There's a Buc-ee's on the exit, kid. Yeah. So and that's the big Buc-ee's. That's the big buck.
Mm-hmm.
Big B.
Let's wrap this down.
The monster beaver.
Buc-ee's and wrap it up, so.
Okay. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you guys next week. I'm in the editing bay on some stuff, so keep an eye out.
If you haven't watched Alex Petakov's new video, watch
I'm going to drop that link again
We're
right now. Thank you for reminding me. All right, there it is. That's another link to the Small Town Monsters' latest release. It is Strange Places. Lost in the Land Between the Lakes. Joe and I are both in that, along with our buddy Martin Groves, Elijah Henderson, Mark Newble. Is his last name Newble?
Newble, yeah.
Newble.
Yeah.
Mark is a treasure.
Mark is awesome.
We got to meet. Just a side note, we got to meet Mark.
We got to hang out with Mark.
After all of that.
I couldn't stop talking about it for days.
He is a treasure.
He
a
is
treasure.
Awesome
so
dude,
yeah. So, we're all in that, and it's really good. Alex did a great job on it. It's kind of all the weird stuff about the LBL, like all these weird little side stories about the LBL. It's a great watch. You can hear me babble on that. And Martin goes, Buc-ee's jerky. Suji, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate it.
Good night, guys. We appreciate you. Y'all have a great
We
evening.
do. You may not. We've been doing live streams for members pretty hot and heavy.
Hot and heavy.
We're doing because we've been in an area that's had a lot of signal.
Yeah.
We're taking a step back from my mental health to let me kind of regroup a little bit
from the road.
From that,
not from working.
You may get some member stuff that is not live streams, but just some like members like recorded stuff.
I've got some Grove stuff that's going to be members. That's going to be coming out.
Some of the areas we're going to, we ain't going to have signal, but we'll get some footage just for the members only. And if you're interested in doing the memberships, we do have the memberships. It's not just something you do. A lot of people do it just to support us because they enjoy what we do and they see value in it. But it also, I think they get some pretty neat stuff out of it.
Yeah.
I think it's worth
There's
it.
extra stuff in there.
It's extra stuff.
Extra videos, extra excursions. So thank you guys so much. We hope you have a wonderful night. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And I'm going to leave you with some music. Let's drop that. Let's drop out of here. Let's go. Let's get done. Out.